Look, listen, and say. Click on the picture. Read the sentences. Number them in the correct order from 1 to 4. Click. Click on the gaps to see the order of events. Do activity B from your textbook. Look, listen, and read. Babul and his family live on the island of Dublar Chor. Life is good for the family now. But that wasn't true after Cyclone Aila. Babul does not remember Cyclone Aila, but his parents often talk about that terrible night in 2009. Babul's father had a grocery shop, and his mother worked in a fish farm. They had a small house that they shared with Babul's grandparents. Babul was just a boy, but his sister Nipa was 6 years old. Babul's father told him what happened that night. There was a light rain in the morning on 25th May. In the afternoon, the wind started to blow and people began to run for their homes. Babul's father closed his shop and his mother came home. His grandparents checked the family's emergency kit. Their torch was working and they had extra batteries. They put the torch, batteries, and first aid kit in a plastic box. By the evening, the river was rising. The winds of Cyclone Aila shook the walls of the house as if there was an earthquake. Everyone was afraid. Nipa began to cry. Suddenly, there was an awful noise and the family's roof blew away. The sky was dark, but the family could see trees flying above their heads. Grandmother still says she saw fish flying through the sky. Read the first 4 paragraphs of Activity D from your textbook. Find out the true and false statements in the next slide. Choose the correct answer. 1. Babul's parents had a big house that they shared with Babul's grandparents. 2. Babul's sister Nipa was 6 years old. 3. Babul's mother worked in a shrimp hatchery. 1. What was the name of the cyclone that had hit in Dublar Chor? 2. The wind started to blow in the 3. Dash still says she saw fish flying through the sky. Look, listen, and read. The next day was awful. Babul's family could not stop crying. Nipa and grandfather were gone. Babul's father went out to look for them. He found Nipa in a field. She was holding onto a tree and she was covered in mud. She didn't remember anything. He took Nipa at home and began looking for his father. He looked in the fields, the buildings and the trees. Many people in Bangladesh were missing after Cyclone Aila, and Babul's grandfather was one of them. The family never found him. After Cyclone Aila, people worked together. Nipa School became the shelter for the survivors. Babul and his family went to live in the school. The government of Bangladesh and workers from NGOs came to help, but things were very hard. There wasn't enough safe drinking water or food, so many people became ill. In time, people repaired their homes and rebuilt their villages and bridges. They planted new trees and new crops in their fields. Babul feels happy when he looks at the trees and his sister, Nipa. But he feels sad about his grandfather. His grandmother says, "Don't be sad, Babul. Grandfather wants us to live for the future. Read the fifth and sixth paragraphs of Activity D from your textbook. Answer the questions in the next slide. 1. What happened to Babu's grandfather? 2. What became the shelter for the survivors? 3. Who came to help the survivors after Cyclone Aila? Read about Cyclone Aila again. Complete the sentences. 1. Cyclone Aila happened in D. May 2009. 2. Babul's mother worked. 3. Dash checked the family's emergency kit. 4. The river began to rise. 5. Father found Dash in a field. 6. Dash was never found. 7. The survivors of Cyclone Aila stayed. 8. People became ill because